What if I told you that the things making your home feel heavy are not what you think? Not the bills, not the dust, but the silent weight of too much, too many items, too many decisions, too many just-in-case things we never use. If your home ever feels more like a storage unit than a sanctuary, then this video is for you. Over the past 10 years, I have let go of more than clutter. I have let go of pressure, guilt, the idea that I must keep everything just because I once paid for it. And in that process, something beautiful happened. I started breathing easier. I found space, and more than anything, I found peace. Today, I want to share 21 ordinary things that helped me get there. You do not have to throw everything out. Just one honest decision at a time can begin to shift everything. So grab your tea or coffee and let us begin this gentle journey together. Because you are not behind. You are right on time to create a home that feels like peace, not pressure. 1. Mindset and mental declutter. Before I ever donated a single mug or folded a single towel, I had to start with something deeper, my thoughts. Because the hardest clutter to clear is not in your drawers. It is in your mind. It is the quiet weight of fear, guilt, and the stories we keep telling ourselves, often without even realizing. I used to think that holding on to things was smart, that being prepared for every situation made me a responsible adult. So I kept the old jackets, the second blender, the extra lamp, the art supplies I had not touched in over a decade. I kept them just in case. But here's what I discovered. Just in case is almost always fear in disguise. Fear that I will not have enough. Fear that I will regret letting go. Fear that I will need something someday and be unprepared. But over the past 10 years, I have let go of hundreds of just-in-case items. And you know what? Almost none of those cases ever came. And when they did, when I needed something, I found another way. I borrowed. I got creative. I asked a neighbor. And every time it worked out just fine. Next came the backup items. Things I kept not because I used them, but because they were there. A suitcase with a broken zipper. A dull pair of scissors, old shoes with worn-out soles. These things were not helping me. They were quietly taking up space, whispering, "Remember me? You spent money on me. You should keep me." But when I looked closer, I saw something else. These backup items were not just objects. They were symbols of hesitation, of indecision, of an unwillingness to fully release the past. Letting them go was not easy, but it was necessary. And when I did, I felt something surprising, relief. Then I began noticing something I now call the silent to-do list. These were the things I passed by every day but never touched. The pile of receipts I meant to sort, the picture frames I intended to hang, the drawer of old phone chargers. None of them shouted for attention, but all of them whispered, "You should deal with me." Every single day. That whisper drained my energy more than I realized. One Saturday morning, I decided to tackle just one of those items. I picked up a basket of mismatched cords and let it go. The world did not end. My home felt lighter, and that little victory gave me the courage to face the next thing, and the next. But perhaps the most difficult mental clutter was tied to identity. For years, I kept clothes that no longer fit, books I never read, craft supplies from a hobby I had long left behind. Each one represented a version of me I thought I should be. The fit, stylish woman, the creative artist, the perfect host. But keeping those things did not make me those people. It only reminded me that I was not her. Letting go of those versions of myself was tender. I cried. I hesitated. I asked, "Who am I if I am not trying to become her anymore?" And the answer came gently. You are enough, right now, just as you are. I began keeping only what serves the woman I am today, the body I live in now, the life I actually live, and the freedom that brought me. It was more than physical. It was emotional, spiritual. It gave me room to breathe and to be. So if you are standing at the edge of this journey, wondering where to begin, I invite you to start here. Not with your closet, not with your kitchen, but with your thoughts. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to out of fear? What guilt am I carrying in the form of stuff? What version of myself am I still trying to please? Because once your mind is clear, the rest becomes so much easier. Decluttering is not about having less. It is about making room for who you are now and for all the beautiful moments still ahead. 2. Cleaning systems and routines. There was a time when I thought more tools meant better systems, more baskets meant more order, more sprays meant a cleaner home. But what I discovered surprised me. Sometimes, more actually made everything harder. One of the first changes we made was removing the laundry baskets from every bedroom. I know, it sounds odd, but let me explain. We used to have hampers in each room. On the outside, they looked tidy, but on the inside, they were always full, overflowing. And worse, they became hiding spots for procrastination. We would drop clothes in and say, I will get to it later. But later never felt easy. The baskets made laundry invisible until it became overwhelming. One day, we tried something new. We removed all the baskets. Every family member brings their clothes directly to the laundry room. Every day. No more hiding, no more buildup. Just a simple rhythm that works. It took time to adjust, but it changed everything. Laundry stopped being a mountain we dreaded and became part of our daily flow. The second change was letting go of the ironing board. For years, it stood in the corner like a monument to guilt. I kept telling myself I should use it more, but the truth was, I almost never did. Instead, I learned to hang clothes straight from the dryer or give them a quick steam. It worked beautifully. And once the ironing board was gone, so was the burden I did not realize I had been carrying. Then, I turned to the cabinet under the kitchen sink. There were bottles for everything. Glass cleaner, stainless steel polish, bathroom spray, wood wipes, granite sealer. Each one promised to make my life easier. But all together, they created clutter. Visual clutter, mental clutter, decision fatigue. So I asked myself, what if I just used one cleaner for everything? I tried it, and 2 years later, I have not gone back. One simple all-purpose bottle does the job. I spend less time searching for the right product and more time simply cleaning, and it feels lighter. Another small but powerful shift was with glasses, reading glasses, sunglasses. We used to have pairs scattered everywhere, in drawers, on counters, in bags. The idea was convenience, but in practice, it just meant I could never find a pair when I needed them. So I picked one pair I loved. I kept it in one place, and I took care of it. No more hunting, no more duplicates. Just one item I trusted and valued. We also simplified our storage overall. No more just-in-case tools. No more keeping 6 dust cloths or 3 vacuum attachments we never used. If it had not been touched in over a year, we thanked it and let it go. And here is something I did not expect. When we had fewer things, our home became easier to clean. Not because we were trying harder, but because we had less to maintain. Fewer objects meant less to dust, less to move, less to organize, and more room to breathe. It reminded me that our homes were never meant to be museums. They were never meant to hold everything we have ever owned. They were meant to serve us, gently, quietly, in the background. If you have ever looked around and thought, I'm so tired of maintaining all this, I want to tell you something. You're not lazy. You're not behind. You're simply carrying too much, and you can put some of it down. Start with the thing you never reach for, the cleaner you never use, the basket that holds more stress than clothing. Let one thing go. See how it feels. That is how it begins. One shelf, one decision, one deep breath at a time. 3. Bedroom and bathroom peace. The bedroom and the bathroom. These are the first places we step into in the morning and the last we leave at night. They shape our days more than we realize. And yet, for many years, mine did not feel peaceful. They felt heavy, not because of how they looked, but because of what they held. Let me start with the linen closet. I used to believe that each bed needed at least 3 sets of sheets. One on the bed, one in the wash, and one just in case. But what I found was that we always ended up using the same set over and over. The extras sat folded, untouched, slowly turning yellow from age. One day, I tried an experiment. What if we had just one set per bed? We washed, dried, and put them right back on. No piles, no folding, no overstuffed shelves. And to my surprise, it worked. We never ran out. We just ran smoother. It felt radical at first, but now it feels like freedom. Then came the towels. I had stacks of them, more than we could use in a week. Guest towels, old beach towels, good towels. But in practice, we each used one, so we simplified. One towel per person, a couple extras for guests. That was it. No more heaps of laundry, no more messy shelves. And a strange thing happened. We became more grateful for what we had. We took better care of it. Under the bathroom sink was another story. I had gathered a small army of hotel-sized shampoos, conditioners, and soap bars. I kept them because they were free or useful. But they sat there for years, taking up space, collecting dust. And every time I saw them, I felt a twinge of guilt. Guilt for not using them. Guilt for wasting. Until one day, I asked myself, if they are not serving me, why am I serving them? I let them go. And in return, I got back a space that felt calm, breathing room, simplicity. But the hardest space to declutter was my closet. Inside were clothes from every version of me, dresses I never wore, jeans I hoped to fit into again, shoes that looked good but hurt my feet. They were not just clothes. They were expectations, memories, regrets. And every time I opened the door, I felt it, a sense that I was not enough. So I made a decision. I would only keep what fits the life I live now, the body I have now, the style that makes me feel like me. Letting go of the someday clothes was not about giving up. It was about showing kindness to myself in the present. And when I did that, my confidence grew. Not because my wardrobe got better, but because my reflection no longer came with judgment. There was also a box in the closet. It was filled with wall art we had taken down years ago, prints we no longer loved, pictures we never framed. I kept them out of guilt, but one day I realized, if I do not love it enough to hang it, why am I holding on to it? So we donated them. And now, every piece on our wall is there by choice, not by habit. And that makes all the difference. The bedroom and bathroom are more than functional spaces. They are where we rest, where we heal, where we begin again. And yet, when they are filled with clutter, they quietly steal our peace. Now, when I walk into our bedroom at night, I feel something I never used to feel: stillness. And in the morning, I start my day not with stress, but with breath. And that, to me, is worth more than any backup towel or hotel lotion in the world. 4. Kitchen and meal simplicity. The kitchen is often called the heart of the home. It is where meals are made, conversations unfold, and family gathers around warmth and nourishment. But for many years, my kitchen did not feel like a heart. It felt like a pressure point, one that kept getting tighter. At first, I thought the solution was more organization, more shelves, more labeled bins, more storage containers. But no matter how much I arranged and rearranged, it never truly felt better. And then one day it hit me. No amount of organization can fix what is simply too much. So we did not start with better systems. We started with fewer things. The first to go were the holiday dishes. We had a bin for every season. Christmas mugs with reindeer, Halloween bowls with smiling pumpkins, platters shaped like autumn leaves. They were fun at first, but every December, pulling them out felt like one more task on an already full list. And most years, I ended up using the same 2 items anyway. So I asked myself a new question. Do these add joy or just noise? We kept a few pieces we truly loved, the ones that made us smile, and let the rest go. That one decision gave us back space in our cabinets. But more than that, it gave us permission to enjoy the holidays without the stress of managing so many things. Then I turned to our kitchen drawers. They were filled with duplicates. 3 spatulas, 4 can openers, 2 cheese graters, more measuring cups than I could count. Somehow, over the years, we had collected tools we did not need and barely used. Yet, every time I opened a drawer, I had to sift through the clutter just to find the one item I always used. So we did something radical. We pulled everything out. We looked at what we actually used every single day and kept just that. Everything else we thanked and donated. Suddenly, the drawers opened easily. No more digging, no more frustration. And I realized that the drawer had not just become lighter. I had too. Then came the single-use gadgets, the avocado slicer, the banana cutter, the garlic press that was impossible to clean, all promising to make life easier. And yet, each one just took up space and added complexity. I asked myself, could a good knife do the same job? And in almost every case, the answer was yes. So we kept the knife, and we let the rest go. What I found was that simpler tools brought more ease and less mess. Next came the cookbooks. I had a shelf full of them. They looked beautiful. They made me feel like someone who cooked gourmet meals from scratch every week. But the truth was, I was not using them. When I wanted a recipe, I searched online, quickly, conveniently. And every time I passed by those books, they whispered something I did not like to hear. You should be more creative, more ambitious, more like someone else. I realized they were not inspiring me. They were silently judging me. So I kept 2, my favorites, and donated the rest. And the shelf, once overcrowded, became a place of calm. A small decision, but a deep release. And then there were the mugs. Oh, the mugs. I never realized how many we had until I had to take them all out. Some were gifts, some were souvenirs, some were just there. But in truth, we each used the same one every day. Mine was a simple white mug, chipped at the handle, soft around the edges. My husband had his favorite too. We kept the ones we loved, 2 extra for guests. And the rest, gone. Now, when I open the cabinet, I do not feel overwhelmed. I feel comfort. There is space. There is order. And every morning starts with that quiet joy. The refrigerator followed. Gone were the expired condiments, the jars of sauces we used once, the cluttered door shelves. We made space for what we actually eat, what we actually enjoy. Less waste, less guilt, more intention. And little by little, the kitchen became less of a storage zone and more of a living space. Simplifying our kitchen was not about living with nothing. It was about choosing with care. Every item we removed gave something back: time, clarity, peace. And in return, cooking became a joy again. Meals were not rushed or stressful. Cleaning was not a burden. Standing in that space felt like exhaling. Because the kitchen should not feel like a museum of appliances or a warehouse of dishes. It should feel like a welcome. If your kitchen ever feels heavy, start with one drawer, one shelf, one mug. Let it go, and notice what opens in its place. It might be space, it might be time, or maybe, just maybe, it might be peace. 5. Living space clarity. Our living spaces are where we gather, where we rest, where we welcome others into our lives. But for many years, mine did not feel welcoming, not even to myself. The living room, the hallway table, even the entryway, they had all become landing zones, places where things collected, stacks of papers, half-used candles, extra picture frames, forgotten keys. And over time, I stopped noticing. But I never stopped feeling it. The tension, the overwhelm, the quiet weight of everything unsaid. So I began asking a simple question. What in this space is actually helping us live better? The first thing I saw was the decorative vases. We had several. Some were gifts. Others were bought on sale. A few I could not even remember where they came from. They were not being used, not bringing beauty, just collecting dust. So we let them go. We kept 2 that we genuinely loved, ones that reminded us of places we had been, moments we cherished. The rest found new homes. Next came the old planners and calendars. I had saved years of them. Some were filled with to-do lists, appointments, and dreams. Others were still blank, never used. I kept them thinking they were part of my personal history, but when I looked through them, I mostly felt sadness at the things I had not done, the goals that had faded, the pressure I had once placed on myself. So I let them go, and in doing so, I made peace with who I used to be. Then came the craft supplies, scrapbooking paper, yarn, beads, paints, remnants of past hobbies and old dreams. I held on to them thinking maybe one day I would pick it all back up again, but I had not. And the more I held on, the more I realized I was holding on to a version of myself that no longer existed. Letting those supplies go was not about giving up. It was about honoring the journey, about giving myself permission to evolve. We also had storage bins of seasonal decorations, fall wreaths, spring centerpieces, 4th of July flags. At one time, I loved rotating them. It felt festive, fresh. But eventually, it became another task I dreaded, another bin to unpack, another item to dust, another chore added to my already full list. So I asked myself, what is the least amount of decor I need to still feel the season? And the answer surprised me. It was not much. A small pumpkin in autumn, a pine-scented candle in winter, one beautiful wreath for the front door, just enough to feel the shift in time. No more, no less. Then came the books. I love books. But somewhere along the way, I believed I needed to own every book I loved. My shelves were full. Some never read. Some I would never read again. I realized that holding on to them was not bringing me joy. It was bringing me guilt. So I gave myself permission to keep only the ones I truly cherished, the ones I reread, the ones I recommend. The rest I donated, hoping they would speak to someone else. And here is the part that surprised me the most. As the shelves cleared, the room felt more alive. With fewer distractions, I noticed the sunlight again. Conversations flowed more easily. Laughter returned. Music played in the background. There was room, not just for movement, but for moments. And guests started saying the same thing when they came over. It feels peaceful in here. Not because of fancy furniture, not because of color-coordinated decor, but because of what was not there. It was the space itself, the breathing room, the calm. Letting go of things in our living spaces was not always easy. Sometimes I had to sit with the story behind an object. It was a gift. It cost money. I might need it one day. But when I looked deeper, those stories were usually rooted in fear. And when I let them go, the regret I feared, it never came. What came instead was freedom, lightness, relief. So if your living room feels crowded, not just with stuff, but with stress, I want you to know, it does not have to stay that way. You do not need to empty the house overnight. You do not need to give up everything. Just start with one item. Ask, does this help me live the way I want to live? If the answer is no, thank it and let it go. Your home should not be a museum of who you used to be. It should be a haven for who you are now. And the beautiful truth is this: with less on your shelves, there is more room for life to unfold. So here we are. We have walked through the quiet corners of the mind, the rhythms of our daily routines, the soft spaces where we sleep, the heart of the kitchen, and the rooms where life unfolds. And perhaps, as you listened, something stirred inside you. Maybe it was a memory. Maybe it was a longing. Maybe it was just a simple breath, the kind that comes when you realize, I do not have to hold on to all of this anymore. Because you do not. You do not need to carry the weight of unused items, of old identities, of silent expectations. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to release. You're allowed to make your home work for you, not the other way around. Oh, and I want you to know, there is no race. No one is ahead of you. You are not behind. You are simply here. And here is a beautiful place to begin. You do not need to let go of all 21 things we talked about today. Maybe just one drawer, one thought, one old habit that no longer serves you. That is how peace begins. And with every item you release, you are not losing something. You are gaining something far more valuable. Space, clarity, time, and above all, freedom. The kind of freedom that lets you breathe deeply in your own home. That allows you to sit down without seeing 100 silent to-do lists. That reminds you, you are safe. You are cared for. You are enough. Thank you for spending this time with me. If something I said made you pause, made you smile, or made you feel a little lighter inside, then this video has done what I hoped it would. I invite you to subscribe and become part of this growing community of thoughtful, kind souls who are choosing to live with intention, not perfection. I have many more videos to walk beside you, not just with tips, but with heart. Not just the steps, but the soul of this journey. You are not alone. You never were. And your peace, your deep, lasting, healing peace, is always worth choosing. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. You matter. And your home can be a place where you finally feel free.